Hello, welcome. This is part one of my color along out of Small Town Charm. So we finished our Autumn Harvest page and now we are on to Small Town Charm. Again, I can do other books and other artists. If you have any interest, just let me know, comment down below, or reach out to me on another platform. This page wasn't really picked by anybody. Honestly, I have had a long day and I am up on kitten duty, so somebody has to stay up with the kitty tonight because she got put under today. So I figured while I'm up, I might as well do something to keep myself awake, and this is the page that was calling to me, so here we are. So my vision for this page is to do a little bit of a, well, not a little bit, I would like to do a nighttime scene. I do a lot of pretty daytime scenes. I would like to try my hand at a nighttime scene. I thought this would be a good page to share with everybody because we have this beautiful fire here. We can talk a little bit about reflections of the fire on things, how we pick our light sources, as well as the moon on the water. This page is a little off for me because I would like this glare here to be a little bit more lined up with the moon here, but we're going to make it work. So I'm going to start down here with the fireplace. You are welcome to join in with me. Share your pages, just watch, whatever works for you. Let me bring it in a little and we'll get started. Okay, so I'm sorry for a little bit of wiggling. I'm trying to get lined up here. I'm going to start right away with the fire. So I'm going to color the fire in, and then we'll talk a little bit about where I'm going to put my highlights from the fire for the rest of the page. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to base in a canary yellow my fire. Let me scoot over a little here. Sorry again, getting adjusted, lined up with everything. This page also is not planned out because, like I said, it's been a long day. I have a sick kiddo and a sick cat. And because I've got the night to myself, I figured why not. So we'll see how far we can get, how many parts we can do here. Okay, so that's going to be my fire. Now, we kind of learned when we put in our highlights that our brightest spot goes at the top. Fire is a little bit backwards of that theory because the white or the brightest yellow is the hottest, kind of like the sun. The middle is the brightest because it's the hottest. So when we're kind of doing fire, I like to put that yellow down and then kind of start in my shadow areas. Now, fire doesn't really have a whole lot of shadow areas because it's fire, but it still has some color variations. Especially if you get those pretty little tablets that you can put in your fire that change it colors. I used to have a picture of it. It used to be my background on my Facebook because I loved it. I don't know how they do it. I know there's science to it and chemicals and all them things that probably really aren't good for you, but they sure are pretty, I tell you what. Okay. Oh, sorry. So that was canary yellow and this is yellowed orange. And again, I'm not touching the outside a whole lot here. Just kind of putting in the darker spots. I'm also going to take a regular orange. So this is just regular orange. And in the darker spots, one second. Okay, sorry about that. Like I said, I'm on duty for a sick kiddo because my poor boy is feeling sickly, but he took her to the vet for me today and they had to put her under. They did some x-rays and blood work and they didn't find anything wrong, so they're thinking she just might be one of those calicos with a sensitive tummy because she's a baby. She's one of our fosters, but because he took the day shift and ran her to the vet for me, now he's sleeping, taking himself a NyQuil nap, and I'm up making sure she doesn't crash or fall out of her box or choke or anything like that silly kitties can get into while people are sleeping. So, all right. So that was orange. I'm going back over and just blending with my yellowed orange a little bit. And you can look up pictures of fire. You can, just whatever looks good to you. There's not really, you can't really ruin fire. Like I said, the main parts we just want to leave some bright yellow so it gives that nice warm heat looking effect. I'm going to add a very small touch of poppy red. And again, this just brings a little more color to it here, and the spots that I think would be so. Happy November to everybody. I don't know if I've been on since it's been November. I am all over the place. I got back into school, so I won't start until January, but videos might slow down a little depending on how much I struggle with homework. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a long time since Ashley's had to go to school and do math. Math is one of my worries. But I still will be here. I'm not leaving. I looked at all their art classes. I wish they had an art class I could do coloring for. I could ace that one. They're all like photography and drawing and things, and I don't think I'm a good artist drawing wise. Okay, and then I'm coming in with that canary yellow and just really circular motion, blending everything out. Now, I don't like that spot right there where it looks a little rough, so I will come back with my orange and kind of tone down that where it's so harsh, where the red and yellow is. But I'm going to go ahead and finish putting this in and make sure that's the only spot I'm not happy with. Again, whatever color you use for your fire, whether it be yellow or yellowed orange, I would keep those out. You shouldn't necessarily need your red unless you're going to do like a boat or a cabin or the truck, what have you. But when we come in to put our light around the rocks and on the edge of the boat, and maybe a little in the water, we're going to want to know what colors we used. So, if you were doing a night scene, I should say. And this would be a pretty daytime scene too. I just feel like I have a lot of kind of campy wilderness daytime scenes, and I don't have a lot of night. So I wanted to try my hand out here. Okay, when this page is all said and done, I will come in with a Moonlight Jelly Roll. This is a Sakura Jelly Roll. And I will outline my fire. And I will show you a little bit, but I'm not going to do the whole thing just yet, even though it would look cool. But as I do the boat in the water, I'm going to rub it off. So I'm not going to do the whole thing, but this will also cancel out some of the black lines in your fire. It's not as harsh as the white. The yellow really has a nice touch to it. So that will get rid of all the black lines around our fire. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play in this little kind of circle right here. And I'm going to think, if I had a fire, where all the light would touch. You can also, I was shown a cool trick where you can take a circle, and I don't know if I have one, but you can take a circle. Let me make sure that's open, and I just dumped hearts all over in my hand. Let me see. Okay, let's try that again. Take a circle and place it over your fire, and kind of everything that circle touches is where you would put your color. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it for this because I feel like I got a pretty good idea on this where I'd want them. Again, the more realistic and the more you're trying to get into it, the more you can add and really get into it. I'm just doing the basics. I like to make it a little detailed so it looks decent, but not so detailed that it's hard and takes the fun out of coloring, if that makes sense. So I'm going to come around and put a little yellow on the top of these rocks here. Now when we're looking at the fire, we're not going to have a whole lot on these sides. These sides are facing us. So the inside here would probably be a little more yellow, the tops of these. And my light is flickering. Let me pause 1 second. Okay, hopefully that fixes it. I'm not sure if you guys can see my light flickering on camera, but I don't want it to be a distraction or give anyone seizures or anything if it's really worse or really bad on the other side. Okay, so just like that. Again, nobody's going to really notice if you do the whole rock yellow or anything like that. So don't be too hard on yourself that way. Now, we got a little rock sticking out here of the water. And they kind of come around. And again, these are touching. So not necessarily, you don't want to do the tops of your rocks yellow and the bottoms of them gray, because that's going to look kind of off. It's going to look like the fire's at the top but not at the side. So we want to remember that as we're going. And I'm not going to add a whole lot to these because I feel like they're far enough away the fire probably wouldn't touch them. Again, I am not a professional or a teacher. This is just how I get the effects across on my pages. Feel like I should add that disclaimer here. This is new territory for me too, as far as showing people. Okay, and I'm going to leave these rocks. I don't feel like these are going to be touched a whole lot. I don't feel like these are going to be really affected by the fire. I feel like the boat is probably going to be pretty much where the fire ends. Now we have two sources of light going on in this page because whether you do the sun or the moon, up to you, you could still have a little reflection here depending on how deep you want to get into it. I'm going to leave mine until I get my water put in, and I'm going to just stick down here to my fire. So I pulled a 70% warm gray, a 20% warm gray, and a 50% French gray. Now, rocks can be any color. You can do all dark gray, all warm gray, all French grays. I even added a little blue. Let's see if you can see in my example here. These rocks aren't done, so don't judge me too harshly. But when I did my rocks by my waterfall here, see if we can see, I even added a little bit of periwinkle blue, just so that reflection from the waterfall would show up in my rocks a little bit. Not necessarily enough to be like, oh, there's blue in her rocks, but enough that your brain kind of puts it together for you. So, we're not going to do blue because we're kind of far away from the water here, but that's where the yellow kind of comes in as our incorporating. So I'm going to take this, and rocks, I have better luck doing layers. So if you are not a layering person, put your 20% down first and work your way up. I'm going to shadow in between these rocks and kind of toward the bottom where the logs are. Now I know I put yellow there. This will still work. Trust the process kind of thing here. Now this rock on this side, we don't have a whole lot of light, so it's going to be a little darker. The hard part about balancing night pages is we don't want so many dark colors that the whole page looks dark except for this one yellow spot in the middle. So that's where we're kind of bringing in some other colors to help with that. So be wary when you do your brown around your fire. The same thing. You don't want a dark brown and a dark lake and a dark sky. And then, you know, a bright brown boat. It's just going to kind of throw off your night feel. Okay, so this is the 70% warm. And again, even though that light is hitting here on the rocks, we're still going to have a little shadow in between. Oh, and here comes help. I don't know if you can see. Don't you smack that. Don't. No, no. She's looking at herself. No. See, and I don't want to be mean to her because she's the one that was at the vet today. Giving us all a scare. See how little she is? That's why we're not sure what she's got going on because she's so little. And apparently very, very helpful. She does not know the rules of the desk yet. Okay, I'm not sure she'll stay, but she doesn't act sickly. Like, she's up and she's playing and she drinks a little. She doesn't have anything else other than nothing stays in. So hopefully they got her all fixed up today and we're on the right track. We get my kiddo to the doctor tomorrow. Hopefully we'll all be healing up for the weekend. Okay. She really wants to come play with my pencil. She doesn't seem to think it's very fair that she can't chase my stuff. Okay, this is the 50% French gray. Oh, and I'm gonna have to put her in a different room. She's gonna be too much help. Okay, so 50% French gray. Again, going over that yellow, but you can still see where it's gonna look like we have a glow. And that's kind of what we're going for. We want the rock to look like the fire is on it. So, and I'm not coloring the whole thing because remember I have one more color. And I will show you why I have better luck with layers after we get our lightest color blended in. So I'm just kind of going everywhere I put that darken up a little. Even if I have yellow there. Make sure I'm still on camera here after the cat slid across my book. Okay, and then we're taking the 20% warm gray. So that was 50% French. This is going to be our blender. So I'm going to do the whole rock, but I'm going to start at my yellow and blend down so I don't drag my dark into my yellow. Start at the yellow, and I'm not going to do a whole lot. Okay, see, that's not very pretty. But I will come back in a sec. Let me get a few of these in so I can kind of show you the difference, and then I will show you why I have better luck with layers on rocks than basing and building up. Let's get a couple of these big ones right here in the front. So because I'm going to come back with another layer, I'm not even going to worry about filling all the white in right away. I like adding that French gray in between these two grays because it adds a little bit of like the brownish layer for a rock, kind of. And there are a million different color combos for rocks, so whatever is your favorite. This just happens to be out the one I already had, and it seems to work for this page. So. Sharpening a little so I can get in these cracks. We're going to come back in with our dark. Okay, and then we're going to come back in. Sorry for the noise. This is my 50% French, so dark and then French. And see how much better that looks with a second layer kind of built on top of it. So they may be a little time consuming, but nothing too serious. I am going to come in with a little bit of this orange though and kind of top my rocks just a little, the ones that are closer. Because I feel like that yellow looks odd to me. Maybe it's just me, but I'm going to add a little orange, kind of. Just on the spots that are closest to the fire. So not everywhere I put yellow, just the spots closest. Oh, and I did this side backwards a little bit. Okay. These spots should have technically been yellow because they are right next to the fire. I'm going to blend those out a little bit. And I think this one will be okay because it's a little farther away. The cat distracted me. I got sidetracked. She finally decided to lay back down in her bucket. That's what I thought she was going to do when I started this video. I was like, oh, she'll be easy peasy to watch. She'll just sleep. Okay, so same thing with this dark all the way around. Same thing we just did. Come in with the dark, blend it with that French. And this shadow stays because of the log. So I am going to darken the bottom of these ones where they got kind of washed out. Okay, just coming in and building in. So that light color of ours washes out our dark a little bit. But when we come back with that second layer, really seems to make it pop. I'm gonna hide. I do that just to kind of hide the lines Teresa's put in. So if you don't like those lines dark, you don't have to do that. Just trying to hide some lines. And if you don't like as much yellow, like, you can go over it with this gray and it looks great. I love it. Okay, blending out the dark a little. And remember, well, if you're doing a night scene, I'm doing a night scene. So if these rocks are a little on the darker side, it don't matter because it's nighttime. I forgot this little crack in the rock right here. I am trying to fill in a little bit of my white now. I don't want to go back over with too much of my 20% because that's kind of what wipes out our beautiful brownish colors. So just very lightly kind of using it to blend the French and the yellow. Again, start with your yellow, don't drag upwards. Circular motions kind of right where they blend if I need to. I'm going to add a little more yellow over here. I feel like this one lost its yellow. There we go. Alright, so there is our fireplace rock so far. I feel like those are looking pretty good. I'm going to leave the logs alone in the middle of the fire alone for just a minute. I'm going to fill in the rest of these rocks. So let's see. 20 minutes and all I've got done is rocks. I am not the speediest colorist. So same procedure. I'm going to show you kind of over here on these ones. And again, trying to remember where the light is going to hit them most. We're still going to shadow here because that other rock is going to leave a shadow. And then these ones over here, I'm just going to color like normal rocks. I don't think maybe the light will hit the edge of this one a little, but not too much. And then these I'm going to color the same as normal old rocks. So darker at the bottom. Went a little out of the lines there. I'm trying to hold my pencil where you can see what I'm doing. Okay, same thing. These ones I'm going to come up a little higher with my French. Again, still coming in with the French over the yellow a little bit. Helps blend it together, give it some life. I know this isn't exactly a fall scene, but like I said, I was trying to find something to keep me awake, and this is the page that called to me. And I didn't even plan it out. I usually plan a little bit so I don't goof up, but we're rolling with it. Okay, this is that French gray again on the rocks over here. Now if you want to add a dot of blue or a little reflection of the moon, or you want to add a little moss green, you would do it just like we kind of did our fire here. Sorry, this is driving me crazy right here. That yellow's a little, orange a little rough. But you could put a touch of green right there and it would look like algae on your rocks if that's... I'm not going to get that technical yet. Will I change my mind at the end? Maybe, but not yet. Okay, light color. And again, I'm going to go over the whole kind of thing and blend it together because I'm going to come over it again anyway and darken everything back up. Now, I have tried going over my rocks with this light color first and building up. I don't get the effect I'm going for. And that might be a me thing. As you can tell, I am heavy-handed. So sometimes things don't work for me the way they work for other people. That's why it's cool to watch ColorTube and see everybody's different styles, because You never know. I take a little bit of everybody and put it together and make my own. I used to feel real bad about being heavy-handed, and I tell you what, if you are heavy-handed, don't listen to the ones that chew you out for being heavy-handed. It is not a bad thing. It's just different. I think you get richer, more saturated pieces. It does help to be able to control it a little and know when you need to, but there ain't nothing saying we can't get beautiful pieces because we press our pencil into the paper too hard. Coming back with dark. Same process. So I probably won't do all of these. I won't make you watch me blend all of these out because they are a little tedious. But I wanted to show you kind of how it all comes together rock-wise. Rock-wise, rock-wise. See how tired I am? And it's only 11:30. I got a long ways to go. And I can't have coffee because I have a bad heart. So pretty much talking to you guys is keeping me awake. Okay, and then I forgot these rocks over here. These rocks will be done the exact same way. So use your same colors if you are following along anyways. And I'll kind of show you where my dark's going to go so you can build off it for those of you following along. But bottom of our rock. Now if you want to make your rock look like, you know, it's got a darker little cave, you can bring these out. You can add a little scuff mark on your rock. Whatever you like. She just puts in kind of baselines and you can expand upon them. Like I said, normally I could probably add a little green, a little moss, a little something to these rocks. It's nighttime. I'm not going to bring a whole lot more green down in here because I'm going to try to keep my greens that are down here balanced with my greens that are up here. So that's where I'm at with it. I can't believe we're in November and Wyoming has no snow. I don't want to jinx it, but at the same time, I feel like somebody's getting our snow somewhere. I heard the poles are shifting and like the warmer states are cold and the colder states are warming up. But it is weird. But I have noticed like we've been getting more snow January through March than we have October and December. We used to always have snow for Halloween, but the last few years not so much. Okay, and then again I will come in and go over those with another layer. Okay, so that's where we're at so far. Okay, I think I'm gonna fill in the dirt right here and maybe a little grass, maybe these, and then I'll leave that for part 1, and then we'll have like a part 2 for the water, and then maybe the sky, and then some trees and stuff. We'll see. I try to keep them in 4 parts so they're not so hard to follow along. But I also haven't tried out my new setup to see how long I can actually record before it doesn't upload. I'm kind of not really trying to find out. It always bums me out when I do like a 45-minute video and then I can't upload it. Okay, this is Prussian green. And what I'm going to do with Prussian green, if I could hold it here because it's little. So this is going to be my darkest green. I am probably going to come in with a darker, either a dark brown or a black or indigo blue and darken up some spots. But for the sake of right now, this is my darkest color. So I'm coming around the rocks. Oh, sorry if you can hear that buzzer. Also doing laundry. I guess I can fold some laundry to help keep myself awake now. Yay. Okay, so I'm just kind of picking some random spots to darken up here. Just to give the grass a little bit of dimension. Okay, same with this grass up here. So I'm going to put a little line next to the log. Because I got a bad habit of when I'm doing grass and I'm flicking of getting the log in the way. Okay, I'm just going to flick a little upwards. I'm not necessarily trying to get the grass texture. I'm just trying to get, what do you want to call it? The angle of the grass, the growth of the grass direction. I'm struggling with words tonight. Okay. And see, so this little line here will disappear as I get the rest of my colors in. It's just easier not to color the log that way for me. And like around my rock, I will draw around my rock, and then I will come back and kind of smooth it out so there's not a harsh line, but I don't want my rocks to turn green. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of grass green. Same thing. It looks like a big difference, but we will fix it. Trust the process. Grass green. And not filling in all the white, as you can see. We're just playing a little. Because we can add as many or as little greens to this as we want. Now with these, I can't remember their real names. We call them corn dogs, wild corn dogs. I can't think of their name off the top of my head. I know their real names, but we've called them wild corn dogs for so long, I can't think of them. I'm going to start at the bottom of them with the grass green and the tip, and then I'm going to put a little highlight in the middle. And fun fact, I don't know if any of you have ever seen the videos where people bite into these and they explode and they keep exploding and they keep exploding. That is very much true. Don't do it. Do not recommend. I don't recommend letting kids open them in your house, and I don't recommend eating them because we've done both. I didn't think the fluff, the stuffing in them would come out as much as it did, we'll say. Okay, and then I'm going to pull an apple green because I don't think I have one out. Let me find an apple green. Maybe. If I can get some things to cooperate here. Oh, a spring green. A spring green will work great. Okay. Now, this looks silly now, but remembering that we're going to have this moon, and our little highlight here for the moon is a little off center. These are going to kind of, by the time we're done, hopefully look like a little bit of highlight from the moon. So the colors look weird now, but they will come together. And keep your greens because your trees up here will require them as well. So you can do these ones your darker greens and these two your brighter greens, whatever you wish. But again, you're not going to want to bring in different greens down here and up here. Too many colors. Catastrophe, chaos kind of feel. So. Okay, so now we're going to color in that grass. And I apologize for the sniffles as well. Hopefully I'm not catching what my boy has because he sounds awful. Am I probably? Yes, definitely. But I can pretend for a little while longer. This one I darkened because it looks like it's hidden by these trees. This one, although I would like it to be in the path of the moon a little more, isn't. So it doesn't necessarily have to have the shiny spot on it. But because I want them to be somewhat similar so it doesn't look like they're two different plants, I'm rolling with it. I hope I don't confuse people more than I help them with my... Okay, this is dark green, and like I said, I'll probably come in with a darker one. So that's what I'm going to do. And we will mush it all together. Technically, this probably could have been a little brighter with the fire. So, we can still add a little yellow. All this yellow will do is brighten whatever green you put down. So if you don't like it, you can darken it. If you do like it, you can leave it. It's one of them things where you add it. If you don't like it, it's easy to hide. Because like you'll color over it with a green and it'll just be a brighter green. No harm, no foul. I'm going to darken these a little because they look a little bright to me for nighttime. personal preference. So this is dark green. Okay, sorry about that. Kiddos up. All right, so I know it doesn't look like much so far, but there we are. Again, I'm going to blend this out if I want it darker after I get everything else in, working on balancing out my page. I can come back with some greens and darken it up. Like I said, I'm going to leave that yellow in so it looks like the fire's bouncing off it here a little bit. I'll blend this out. The brown, I'm not fully decided on yet, so I will do the brown next video just for the fact that I want to do my boat first. I don't want my dirt and my logs and my boat to be the same brown, if that makes sense. Questions, comments, requests, anything like that, please let me know. I hope to see you for part 2 of our Small Town Charm Color Along by Teresa Goodridge. Thanks for watching.